What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and in this video I'd like to talk about your altcoins and what they might do between now and the end of the cycle. The expectation by the end of this video is that everybody walks away with an understanding of what the projected outcome for the average crypto investor should be between now and the end of the cycle. What return should you expect to see? What lets you know that you are on par with the rest of the market if you're underperforming the market or if you're outperforming the market? And I want to clarify real quick in case anybody's wondering. Yes, I very much believe there is still more cycle to go. There is more bull run to happen. We have not even entered the finale phase yet, but we're about to get there. I think that we are literally on the precipice of doing so. So again, the purpose of this video is to address what the prospects are for the average altcoin between now and the end of the cycle. I still believe we have more to go. Hit the like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. Okay, so here we are, looking at the others chart. In order to do this, we are going to look at the charts. Now, I'm not going to pull out anything fancy. I'm hoping that the tools that we use, the indicators that we use here are simplistic enough for anybody to understand. I don't care if you know how to read a chart or not, okay? For those of you that might not have ever seen a chart like this, it's similar to a line chart, right? It's similar to a line chart. See how it's almost the same, but Japanese candlesticks are a little bit different, a little bit more sophisticated. I'm not going to educate on how they work right now, but effectively this is a better way, I think, to analyze price action, okay? And what we're going to do here is we're going to measure not last cycle, not the high to low, but we're going to measure the cycle before, the all-time high at the time in 2018 to the low on the others chart. Now, the others chart, we type in others here, it is the crypto total market cap excluding the top 10. In other words, this is effectively our S&P 500, but it's like the S&P 100 for our altcoin markets. It's the altcoin index. Last cycle, the last cycle topped off at the prior cycle's golden ratio. That's where we topped off. Last cycle, I think, and I've theorized this for many years now at this point, that last cycle was weak, that it was held back. We had a plethora of reasons why it was held back. Okay, high inflation, post-COVID times, right? Tensions were increasing around the world, and then shortly after the top here in 2022, we had the Russia-Ukraine conflict, the war start up. Changing of administrations, right? The economy of the world was really just kind of in shambles at the beginnings of this, at the end of 2021, and really going into really even like the beginning of this year or sometime in 2024. We had some rough times there. And the dollar, the US dollar was gaining strength. There's all kinds of reasons. Federal Reserve started doing quantitative tightening instead of easing. Interest rates were going up, not down. We had all the reasons why the market was ready to collapse, essentially, why we were entering a bear market, okay? This cycle, however, we have interest rates cutting at a steady pace, I might add, which is positive. We have a crypto-friendly administration in the White House. Quantitative tightening, I should say, is assumed to be ending here in the coming months. Maybe not by the end of this year, but certainly by the end of the cycle. We've got a lot more positives in the macroeconomic circumstances of the world right now, and it's just a complete 180. Inflation's under control. We have no post-COVID catastrophes to deal with or anything like that. It's a totally different environment here than we had back here. And even then, with all this stuff going on, we still hit the 1.618, the golden ratio there. So I think it's fair, and maybe I'm crazy here, but I think it's a fair assumption that by the end of this cycle, we would at least, at a minimum, hit our golden ratio, right? Is that fair? Can we agree on that? Now, again, we're going to leave that line there. Again, I think last cycle we were held back. I think we were supposed to see further extensions. I think we were actually supposed to hit the 2272. And the reason that, for that at least, the reason why I believe we were supposed to hit the 2272 is because typically that's what Bitcoin does as well. We go back to Bitcoin's very first bull market, and you'll notice here that the others chart mimics on a fib scale what Bitcoin does as well, okay? From a high to a low, you went all the way up to the 2272. You actually went just above there, the 2272 for Bitcoin. We do this again, high to low. The 2272 is this like manila color right here, this kind of like soft yellow color. 16,570, we went just above there, right below 20K, right? That cycle. 2272, 2 cycles in a row, can't be a coincidence. We go to this, high to low, and last cycle, again, a cycle where we had all these things holding us back. I think we were held back. I think we were supposed to go to the 2272, but instead we had a double top, the first and only double top in Bitcoin's history. We stopped at the golden ratio, the same place that the others chart stopped at, which was the golden ratio, right there. So in tandem, the others chart and Bitcoin, now they didn't move up the same. We look at the others chart from the bear market low to the bull market high. That was an 86x across the board for the average altcoin, right? The average altcoin investor, in other words, made an 86x if they timed the market appropriately. Maybe you didn't buy the absolute low, maybe you didn't sell the absolute top, but overall that's what we had. Low to high for Bitcoin, it was a 22x, right? It's not the same growth overall, but the respect on the fib levels is the same, and that's the key point. I theorize, and I have theorized now for years, since the end of 2022, the beginning of 2023, I've theorized that Bitcoin this cycle will top off at $500,000. $500,000 is just above the 2272, which not last cycle, but the two prior cycles, we did go just above the 2272. We've got quantitative tightening taking a back seat. The DXY, the dollar index, is in the dumps. We don't have post-COVID things. The world is actually coming to peace, it seems, for the most part. We're having more peace and less conflict in the world than we have in a while. And don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of conflict. Tensions are definitely high. We're not like a peaceful race of humanity at the current time right now. But things are definitely chilling, right? We've had more conflicts put to bed this year than we've had in a very long time. And I think beyond just the conflicts and stuff like that, macroeconomic conditions are stabilizing and looking healthy. A lot of people are expecting a recession to hit soon. And I want to look at you guys in the face real quick. I want to look you right in the eyes. A lot of people are expecting a recession to hit soon, but they're failing to mention that we actually did have a recession from the end of 2021 to about somewhere in 2023, if not 2024. And if not, potentially even the beginning of 2025. Genuinely, we had a recession from 2021 to 2023 at the earliest, 2025 at the latest. We just had a recession. It's 2025 now. We just had a recession. We're not going to have another recession. We just had one. Okay. I don't know where you guys have been over the past 4 years, but things were pretty rough. Economically speaking, things were not good in the world. Entertainment and vacation lines, they all saw hits, and these are very telltale signs of a recession. People aren't going on vacation. People aren't spending money on entertainment whenever we're in recessionary periods, and quantitative tightening goes on. All these things, man, all these things that suggest that we were in a recession. The last administration even had to actually change what the definition of a recession was to not be condemned as a administration that promoted a recession, right? Which is two quarters in a row of negative GDP. And we had that. By all traditional analysts aspects of determining what a recession is, we had a recession, right? The only reason why the majority of people don't want to call this a recession is for political reasons, right? They fail to see it, and the news won't talk about it as such. But we're not going to have a recession, guys. We're not on the brink of recession. We're on the brink of expansion right now, okay? If Bitcoin's going to go to the 2272, this is not a Bitcoin video. This is an altcoin video, but I'm using this as an example. I thoroughly believe we're going to go just above the 2272 to the $500,000 marker. I would then believe that altcoins this cycle, from this last cycle high to the bear market low, I don't think that we stop at the 1618. I think we do what Bitcoin does, and we go just above our 2272. Right above 5.9 trillion is about $6 trillion. That's what I expect to happen. So who cares what I expect? Who cares what I think, right? We've got the hard data. We saw the golden ratio last cycle. We don't have any other cycles. The others chart, unfortunately, didn't exist before 2014, so we don't have any other cycles to go off of. So all we really have is Bitcoin to go off of and its relationship there. Wherever Bitcoin tops off in its fib, I would expect a direct correlation to the others chart as well. I can do this, though. I can do this real quick without getting into in-depth analysis, without spending 30 minutes explaining why I believe 500K is going to happen. I can do this real quick, okay? We can pull up our pi cycle top indicator. Okay, and every single cycle, this indicator has gotten it correct, okay? Pi cycle top right there, perfect. Pi cycle top right there, perfect. Pi cycle top, perfect. It existed here. It was too new, so we didn't really have any cycle top indicators. The red line was above. This is just a crazy, crazy up cycle. But the point here is not the fact that it calls the tops or that it calls the bottoms or anything like that. The point that I'm trying to make here is that if you notice, you see where the green line is? The green line here? If you notice where the price tops off every single time, it tops off above the green line, notably above the green line. I mean, from here, the green line, let's just see, where are we at? Let's try and get it like right on the money there. Something like, oh, I need to take the magnet off. Something like this. I feel like I'm even being generous. Something like that. This thing topped off 250% above the green line, okay? Whenever we were here, the green line was right there, and we topped off about 132% above the green line. Here, last cycle, we topped off right here. I mean, the cycle top was technically here, but the cycle ended over here. We topped off 41% above the green line. Now, whatever the percentages are, who cares? A lot, a little, it doesn't matter. I don't really care about that. I'm just showing that we have significant percentages above the green line every time. And the green line right now is at approximately $200,000. Bitcoin tops off every single cycle above this green line. Every single cycle it has. Every major top has been there. We haven't been above the green line once this cycle, okay? When we do top off, we likely will be above the green line to some degree. And as we move up higher, this green line will also move up higher. I don't know how high up we will be, but I think, again, even at a 40% increase, that puts us at 321K. Can we just agree at least there with the smallest increase we'd ever seen away from the green line? Can we just agree there that we have a lot of cycle left in us? And I very much personally believe that we will go to $500,000. But this is just a point to make that we do have more to go, that Bitcoin likely will be worth multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars, even $500,000 by the end of the cycle. If Bitcoin's going to do it, and again, let's actually just thinking logically here, taking the last cycle high to the low, if we're going to top off at $300,000, that would be in this area that doesn't make any sense. It'd be at the 200 to the 2272. Why wouldn't we just go to the 2272? Again, right, if we were to go to the green line here, and we were up 40%. Oh, that's not what I was trying to do. I'm sorry. We were up 40% from there, more or less. That puts us right here in the 1886, 200 level, something like that, right? The green line will probably be up higher by the time we get up there. It just doesn't make sense that we'd stop here. But it would make sense that we go to the 2272, which we have topped off multiple cycles in a row at that area, and we were held back last cycle because of all the economic catastrophes going on in the world. We don't have that going on now. It's a total 180. It might make sense that this cycle we don't top off at the 1618, but instead we go to the 2272. We go home where we like to go. In that case, I think others will definitely go to the 2272, okay? And the expectation here then, the grand finale, the grand piece here is that by the end of the cycle, at a bare minimum, let's say that I'm wrong, and let's say we only top off at the 1618, well then the average market participant can expect about a 7x return. It's not a lot for crypto. I mean, it is a lot. Don't get me wrong. I think we would all be happy with 7xing our bags right now, right? Whatever you have. I don't care if you have $100 to your name. Nobody's going to be upset with a rough 7x. And this is on average. Some coins will do more. Some coins will do less. But this is the most realistic, pessimistic, conservative outcome you could come up with. I don't care how bearish you are. At a minimum, a 6.7x is what's coming your way. But using some applied logic, thinking a little deeper here, looking at the history of crypto and using some what I would think is rational thoughts here, I would believe we go all the way up to the 2272, and thus my prediction is that the average altcoin sees something on the lines of at this point, because of the drop that we've seen recently, a 24 to 25x. Okay, the average altcoin will see a 24 to a 25x. Now I keep saying end of the cycle. When is that? Nobody knows. Some people theorize it's already over. My theory and my going theory for the past few months now has been that sometime between March of 2026 to June of 2026 will be when we top off. Somewhere in that time frame there, okay? I'm going to delete all the noise now. I'm going to delete this here, okay? If we were to move up into this little box right up here, where I think we're going to be by the end of the cycle, we'd have a move up just like this, okay? It would essentially look like this from the current month, okay? We take this over here, and I mean, look at that. We had that pace last cycle. In this weak cycle where all these things are going on, we had that exact pace last cycle with the exemption of a few months, to be fair. It wasn't as big as I'm plotting now, but to be fair, I am plotting a bigger cycle. It's going to be more bullish. It's going to be a more bullish run than what we had last cycle, where we should have continued to run here, but we didn't because of all these things that were going on that were negative. We go back to the prior cycle. Look at how fast we move. We moved up actually even faster than the line that I have drawn here, let alone back over here. We moved up even faster. So for anybody who's thinking and putting two and two together, logically putting two and two together, and you're saying, hold on, you're saying we're going to get here, all the way up here by this time frame? That's crazy. Look at how much it'd have to move. Go back in time. That's exactly how a cycle finale finishes. You're crazy if you think this is the cycle ending finale. You're crazy if you think this is it, that the market topped off that the bull cycle ended 1 month before the Bitcoin halving. You're crazy if you think that, okay? This is not the end of the cycle. We have a lot of growth to go. And if things go the way that I think they will, and what do I know? This is my third bull market. I've been in this space since 2015. I can be wrong. I just have a little bit of experience, and I don't really let my emotions get in the way of my analysis at this point. At least I like to think I don't. If I'm right, we should see a 25x roughly, a 23 to a 25x roughly for the average altcoin. So your coin between now and the end of the cycle, if it does less than that, you have a dud. Maybe stay away from it next cycle. If you're not even getting like a 7x or a 5x by the end of this year, maybe stay away from it, right? It's probably a dud. But if you have something that outperforms the average altcoin this cycle, it might be relevant next cycle as well, right? Typically, the coins that outperform the market, typically they have relevance in the next cycle too. That doesn't mean they're going to be shining stars. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But typically they have relevance even in the next cycle. So anything and everything above a 25x, I think, means that you have a winner, means that you're outperforming the market. And no matter who you are, if you're investing in anything, I mean, you could literally just put up a list of random cryptos, blindfold yourself, throw a dart, hit the board 5 times, put your money into there, whatever it is, the top 500 coins, you're going to make a 25x expected return on average. That's that. I got nothing else. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.